Hi, I'm John Pototschnik. I'm an artist. I live in Wiley, Texas, which is a town about 30 miles northeast of Dallas. I'm a landscape painter in oil, and I typically work on canvas or board. And what you see behind me is how every single one of my paintings start on a blank white surface. And it's on that surface that I hope to communicate something of value and importance to my collectors and those that view my work. Some of you are familiar with me, have collected my work, have been students of mine, have encouraged me in many ways over the years. And it's to you that I sincerely express my thanks and appreciation for it. Because of you that I've been able to have a more than a 30-year career in the fine arts. Those of you that don't know me, I hope this little introductory video will give you a little bit of my background and also introduce you to my work. And you too will come to enjoy it as so many others have. You know, one of the first things people ask me when they meet me is, John, how do you pronounce your name? What nationality is that? And you know, I get it, I understand it. People have fumbled and stumbled over the name my whole life. In fact, today I had a call from a salesperson and she said, is this John Pototschnik? And sometimes when I get that, I say no. But I've been called Pototschnik, 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 Poto. I've even been called Potato Chip. My dad, for years, his friends nicknamed him Spud. So, you know, it's been pronounced all kinds of ways. I remember a commercial from years ago that ended with the phrase, you know, I don't care what you call me, just call me. And I get that. I relate to that and to a certain degree don't mind it one bit. But a really easy way to remember it is phonetically. If you think of the author Edgar Allan Poe, and then think of your big toe and sh and Nick, and put all that together, you have Pototschnik, Pototschnik. So I hope that takes some of the confusion out of it and makes it simpler for you to pronounce it. The name is an Austrian name. However, I was born in England. My dad was in the World War II and met my mom. I was stationed in England and met my mom over there. That's where I was born. I was born in a town of St. Ives in Cornwall County, which is in the southern part of England. If you know anything about art history, you will know that St. Ives, during the late 1800s and early 1900s, was a thriving art community. And it was really a really significant area, and with the naturalist movement, which is one of my very favorite movements in all of art. And my other favorite movement would be the Barbizon School of France. But those two movements have just had a significant effect on my life and my appreciation, or at least what I appreciate in art. It's those two things. So much appreciate them. And love so many of those artists that came out of those two movements. I was raised in, oh, by the way, my mom was one of the notorious British war brides. And so after the war, we came to America aboard the Queen Mary, which is now docked in Long Beach, California, and has been turned into a hotel convention center. So that'll give you a little bit about my background. I was raised, however, in Wichita, Kansas, and went all through school in Kansas, and really did not have much exposure to art at all growing up. I can't remember, not that we didn't, I just can't remember that we went to art museums. It was not something we typically did. There was a lot of music in our house, but none of the visual arts, so to speak. But I'd love to make models. I built lots of model cars and lots of airplanes and modified them in many ways. I like to build stuff. I remember I built several soapbox derby racers. So I like to do all that stuff, and I like to draw. And so, but I had no idea. It just didn't cross my mind that one made a living doing this kind of stuff, art or painting or any of that stuff. So when I went off to college, I actually began as a business major. and going to be an accountant, no less. And it didn't take long to realize this is not a fit for me. It was not going to be something I was interested in. And fortunately, I had a good school counselor, and I went to him and I said, you know, this is not working. What do you think I ought to do? And he had a little battery, not a battery test, but a test series of, I guess, involved a bunch of questions. But I remember one of the questions on there was, you know, if you had a choice, would you rather work behind a desk or be a chicken farmer? And I said, well, I'd rather be a chicken farmer. And many of the questions were typical of that kind of thing, likes and dislikes. And when everything was tallied up, and talking to my counselor, he says, it's obvious here, you like to work with your hands. You like to make stuff, create things. So we switched majors. I got out of business and went into, I think, what was called then the industrial arts. I took printmaking, I took woodwork, metalwork. I remember I did etching. I did all kinds of stuff related. That was creative, and yet was able to work with my hands and make stuff and figure out things. And I also took art classes. And it's then I thought, you know, when all is said and done, I really do like to draw. And so I, at that point, decided I want to be an art major. And so the art department was divided into two departments, the fine art department and the commercial art department. Well, I also had contacts at that time through family that were saying, you're not going to make a living in the fine arts. You just can't make a living being a painter. And so it's at that point I decided, well, I do like art and I'd like to be involved in the field, so I'll go the commercial side. And so I was going to be, I think my major was an advertising design major, something like that. And I was going to be an art director. An art director works with clients, designing ads, concepts for ads, may write copy, do some drawing, all that kind of stuff. But it was in my junior year of college that I became more and more aware of the illustrator's job. The illustrator's job was to do the drawings for those ads or those publications, and I discovered some great illustrators at the time. I mean, Joe Bowler was one of my favorites, Bob Peake, Mark English, Bernie Fuchs. Guys, I just loved their work, and if you opened up about any publication on the newsstands at that time, you would see their work month after month after month. And so it was in my junior year, I thought, you know, what I'd really like to do, rather than design ads and all that stuff, I would really like to do the drawings for those ads. And so that's when I decided, junior year in college, I'm going to focus on becoming an illustrator. Well, I graduated from college. Fortunately, while I was going through college, I was in the Air Force ROTC program, and so upon graduation, I took a commission in the Air Force. Well, I was also an athlete at the same time in cycling, and it turned out that all the armed forces had their athletes training in California for the Olympics, the 1968 Olympics. And so they assigned me to California as one of the athletes in the Armed Services sports program. But I was also an information officer, so I had duties not only to train as an athlete, but to be an information officer. But one of the good things that came out of that, and I was really hoping for California, so it was a nice combination of things that came together. They, at the time, I thought, had one of the best art schools in the country, and that was the Art Center College of Design. And so for 3 years at night, I went to school at the Art Center College. And I'd say that's where I really learned a lot about the field of illustration and just learned how much I did not know. And so it was a significant turning point. And so in 1972, I had fulfilled my duties in the Air Force and got out of the Air Force. By that time I had married. And we moved to Dallas, and the first 3 months in Dallas, I spent put together a portfolio to go around and show art directors. And that was followed by seeing 135 ad agencies, art directors, publishers over the next, I think, period of a year. And that's how my career started. And I'd worked in the fine art field, not in the fine art, in the commercial art field for the next 10 years, till 1982. During the 70s, the middle part of the 70s and early 80s, I noticed many really great illustrators leaving the field, and they were moving into the fine arts. And it kind of gave me courage to think, you know, this is something I could do. And so in 1982, I made a clean break from illustration and quickly discovered that I am starting totally over. It was just beginning again. Everything was new. And I remember my very first effort to take some work by a local art gallery, and they said, "Oh, you're an illustrator, aren't you?" And when they said that, I realized I had a problem. And I had talked to some of my artist friends who had left the illustration field and moved into the fine arts. And they said, "John, you need to take your paint outside and learn how to paint outdoors in plein air." And that was an eye-opener. I realized I didn't know anything. My illustration palette was just totally wrong for landscape painting. My work had become way too detailed. There were just all kinds of problems. I didn't know anything. I didn't really even know what comprised a good painting. So it was over the next several years that I spent developing my career, and it took several years to build that career. And so through many changes, my work has evolved to where it is today. And, you know, I think an artist should be competent in painting all kinds of subjects. And I have painted still life, cityscape, landscape, figurative pieces. I like doing all of it. But it seems like my temperament and my interest, I just gravitate. I have a passion for the landscape. It seems like it's through the landscape that I'm most able to communicate naturally and honestly. And it seems like through the landscape, I'm able to express what people really desire and feel that they'd like to experience in life. I like, for some reason, really it's not even a conscious effort. Fortunately, it just comes out. It's probably a deep internal thing that comes out when I paint. But I like to paint a life that is uncomplicated, a life of beauty, of peace and safety and security and honesty and trust and truthfulness and justice and kindness, and, you know, where hard work is rewarded. Those are the things that somehow come out in my paintings. And, you know, I've been really fortunate that over the years I've heard from so many people that have written to me, have collected my work and so forth, and have written to me just expressing what my work has meant to them. And it sort of solidifies and supports what I hope does come out of the work. And I wanted to just share with you, I've kind of compiled a synopsis, you know, just simplified everything, kind of put it together in a few things that people say that I think encompass the feeling of my work and what I do. Some have said your work helps me recall happy memories. Your paintings are full of warmth and peacefulness. They have such a feel-good quality to them. Your work reflects an appreciation of the simple things in life. They speak to my soul. And then others say, you create a world that's so lovely, I just want to step into your paintings and live there. I hear that from many people. They feel like they can just walk into my paintings and live there very comfortably. And finally, others say, your paintings are so natural and look and feel. They are a perfect balance between Impressionism and realism. So, out of all that, listening to my people who have written me over the years, I kind of summarize what I do with a little tag that says, identify my work as paintings of the America we all love. And I don't just do paintings of America, I also paint lots of different things and even a significant number of European scenes, which are really attractive to people. So I enjoy doing a lot of things. But I think with the support of my collectors and followers, they've helped me sort of simplify and put into just a phrase what I hope my work really, how it really comes across to people. So those of you that don't know who I am and don't know my work, I invite you to go to my website and see if you agree with what others say about my work. You can find my website at pototschnik.com. It's Pototschnik. And while you go to my website, I hope that you'll sign up for my newsletter. It's really simple to do. All you have to do is give your first name and your email address, and I'll take care of everything else. But my newsletters are, I think I have more than 1,400 monthly subscribers. I produce a newsletter monthly, but one of the most popular features has now become a recent something I've recently added to my newsletter, and that is the special of the month. And so I'll just entice you with that to go to my website, sign up for my newsletter, and become involved with that special of the month, which is an offer, by the way, that's only available to my newsletter subscribers. And then while you're on my my website, you will also notice that I write a weekly blog, and I've been doing that for 3 years. And it's not the typical blog where I pat myself on the back and tell you how great I am and everything I've accomplished. No, my blog is informational, it's educational, and also inspirational. I've featured the great in-depth interviews with many great artists. I talk about some deceased artists that have made an impact on society and that have appealed to me, things I've learned from them. Talk about them. I talk about and show, illustrate my techniques from start to finish, the concepts, what moves me to even create a painting in the first place. All kinds of things are on there. Technical insights, collector insights, just all kinds of things of value. I think if you sign up for my newsletter, you will be pleased. I don't think you'll be disappointed. If you sign up for to follow my weekly blog, you're also not going to be disappointed. And finally, if you haven't had enough yet, why don't you go to my Facebook page? It's John Pototschnik Fine Art. And like that page, and then I post there weekly. So, you'll get stuff on there too that'll really keep you up to date on the very latest stuff I'm doing. So, anyway, I thank you for tuning into this. I hope that you have come to know a little more about me, have gained, if you don't know my work already, have gained a further appreciation of what I do. And I don't think this will be the last video I'll do. It's been a neat experience, and hopefully we'll do more, and so stay tuned. Thank you so much for listening.